Can you guess where this is? It's Kilika Port. The Youth League helped rebuild it. Now it's a bustling town. At the time, everyone was grateful, but lately, well, there have been signs of trouble. It seems that tension is building between the Youth League and New Yevon.
Hello everybody, and welcome to another video. I was just listening to a track from FF13, completely by coincidence, not because I was about to record an episode. And my god, I forgot how good some of the music was there. I might end this episode playing that. Anyway, hello everyone. Today we're at Kilika, as you hopefully just saw from that cutscene. Interesting stuff going on here. We're only taking a very brief trip to show some stuff off right now, and then immediately we're going to be leaving. I'm just going to grab some chests while we're hanging around, and I got some cool news. I did a little bit of prep just before recording this to change our classes and the way our garment grids are set up. Hooray! So I'll show that off now. It's been so many episodes I've been planning to do this. You'll notice that Yuna, Riku, and Pain now look slightly different over here on the menu. Riku has got a particularly big hat on. This is because her class has changed. This is actually an international new feature where the icons themselves in the menus will change. Before, it was always just the same default one. Well, they added a bunch in international. I guess it's a nice little touch. Let's have a good look at the equip menu then, and we'll look at Yuna. Yuna is currently a songstress. Now, I know some of you guys were a little bit uninterested in songstress before, but it is a very powerful class to be using, especially in Chapter 1, where many enemies are vulnerable to a lot of statuses. So I do want to show this off, some of the quirks of the class, and then we can sort of roll on to some other things. Besides, it's something we've had since the start of the game. I didn't want to give it its due. You'll notice that because she's a songstress, she actually can't physically attack, so I gave her a red ring. The whole theme with our characters right now is they're all mages of some kind, okay? So Yuna is going to be as a songstress, but she's also on the Helios Guard garment grid. This is the garment grid that Tobly gave us in the Moonflow just an episode or so ago, and by equipping it we get all this protect stuff. Now, the way I've set this up is that Yuna is on Songstress, and she can swap, if she likes at any time, to any of the other three classes. She can become a Black Mage, she can become a White Mage, or she can become a Gun Mage at any time she likes. And in fact, if she becomes a Gun Mage, she'll go through that gate and get Auto Protect. So she'll be doing an amount of swapping during battles and not permanently being the Songstress. I don't think really with a pure support class like this, you can really leave them on it forever, but whatever. Anyway, so her accessories are an iron bangle, just gives her more health, and a red ring so she can cast magic even when she's, you know, not necessarily as a black mage. Moving on to Riku. Riku is our black mage. All the girls are on the same grid. So this garment grid, Helios Guard, this is like my mage grid at the moment. They're all mages on there. So Riku is going to be primarily a black mage, and her equipment is raising her max MP by 40%. Would make sense, right? Casting spells costs MP. And she's also got this amulet equipped, which raises our magic power by +10. So that's what Riku will be doing mostly. There was a temptation. I think most players will be tempted to make Pain their black mage, just because it's like, oh yeah, Pain is a new aura and she does all the damage. No, we're not going to be doing that. I think Riku is awesome as a black mage, so Riku's going to be the black mage. We will swap a bit and show off all their various outfits, because Pain does look quite cool as a black mage. And lastly, Pain, once again, Helios Guard garment grid. She's going to be our gun mage. She's going to be doing a lot of very interesting things. As we play, I'll describe to you guys how this class works. It is a very cool class. And because she's going to be doing a bit more physical damage at the same time, I've given her our 2 strength boost things. So the muscle belt we got for completing the Gagazette mission at the start of this chapter where we were chasing LeBlanc and co. We got that chest that they were falling down near. And the wristband, which raises our strength by +10. Very basic stuff so far. That's the way our battles are going to be rolling out, though. Should be kind of fun. This old man says, Port Kilika could never have recovered if it wasn't for the Youth League. So yes, that's kind of what's been going on here. It looks totally different, right? Kilika was one of my big excitements when I was younger, when I was looking at pre-release stuff for this game. I think I've explained to you guys, this was the first video game, really, I got super pumped and hyped about for pre-release stuff. The other game, I guess, was Halo 2, but I think this came out before Halo 2. Like, those are the 2 games I really remember, like, seriously, you know, buying magazines and reading stuff. But yeah, Kilika was always something so exciting to me. I remember thinking, oh, you know, it's the graphics are so good. I was just a stupid kid. It was all about graphics back then. I didn't even appreciate that it was built on the same game engine using the same assets, and it wasn't really going to change graphically very much at all. But, you know, just because this was a new area, I thought, oh, it looks so good. This is all they got. They call this a catch. She says, don't forget that the Kilikans are fishing people. This guy says, that old lady never buys anything or she doesn't complain. Hey, look, she's just, she's a loyal customer of yours. You need to treat her correctly. To tell the truth, our catches have been declining lately. Oh dear. None of the young people are interested in fishing anymore, so what am I supposed to do? Well, hopefully they'll come around eventually. I would suppose that all the young people want to be part of the youth league now, right? Is that your kind of problem? But the stuff that excited me about Kilika was there was all these things that you could see in pre-release footage of people jumping around, right? And indeed, there is a lot of climbing here if you want a lot of the spare chests and stuff. This dude on this boat will offer to take you all the way to the far side of Kilika. He says, need a ride down towards the woods? We'll say no thanks for now. I'm actually not going to talk to everyone, and don't cringe too much at it, because we'll be coming back here very shortly. The main reason I wanted to come here early was mostly because I'm kind of unsure about something. There is another easily missable thing in the game. It's so weird. I haven't really talked to you guys about whether I enjoy this stuff or not. I certainly do, but I don't know why. You know, in a lot of games, I really cringe at the thought that there's so much missable stuff, and it's a real conflict inside me with video games. I don't know whether I enjoy this kind of design, but when I know about it, when I know that there's stuff that's missable and I know that it's there and I can get it, all of a sudden I love it, you know? But as like a first-time player, I don't know. I tend to detest this kind of stuff. Anyway, over here is one of these kind of obscure hidden things in the game. You know how I told you that by not going to the Moonflow, we could get an accessory that would give us break HP limit, which is very end game gear. It lets our health go over 9,999. Now, obviously, we're nowhere near 9,999 health right now. We've only got like 300, but you know, for end game stuff. That's how you get the break HP limit gear. To get break damage limit gear, there are various ways to do it in the game, but especially in International. But in the classic version of Final Fantasy X-2, one of your best shots at getting that gear was to come onto this boat and talk to this dude here holding this camera, who's filming this lovely lady. And he says, that's the new Youth League base they're putting up. The new Youth League base. Interesting. He says, go ahead, take a look. You can say you'll pass or you say, okay, thanks. Say, okay, thanks. And you'll get this nice little cutscene where you're holding the camera. He says, I wonder if it'll be done soon. So another thing that's not quite done just yet, and immediately takes you out. This lady here says, this is a vessel of the Youth League. We travel between... She sounds very manly. We travel between our headquarters and places throughout Spira. Excellent. So this is not currently where the Youth League are set up. They are set up elsewhere. You might remember when we were in Jose, we already heard about where the Youth League were. They were at Mushroom Rock. We've not been there yet. We'll be going there very shortly. But they are setting up a new headquarters, a new base of operation, and that's over there across that water. Now, by talking to this guy, we've got this little cutscene to look at it, and apparently nothing happened. But that was necessary to get break damage limit at the end of the game. You have to come here in Chapter 1. You have to talk to him right now and do that. And you have to do this multiple times throughout the game, and it will never give you any indication you're doing something correct until randomly at the end of the game it's like, oh yeah, you've spoken to me enough, here, have this thing. The long and short of it. Anyway, so with that done, this guy says, since you defeated Sin, now we can actually enjoy sailing. Ah, sea breeze fresh. Lovely. Do you want to actually go fishing with that stuff? Did we talk to this guy? He says, keep this under your hat, but there's supposed to be an awesome sphere somewhere on this island. Ooh, really? Well, maybe we'll check out that awesome sphere later. Buddy certainly never detected it on the Celsius, right? There is plenty more to do here. You may remember some people who lived in Kilika once long ago, well, 2 years ago. As I say, all in due time, my friends. We'll just we'll leave that there for now. And I guess what we'll do then is hit up the airship. Now that we've seen their new headquarters, why don't we actually go check out the real Youth League's headquarters right now? It's a pretty big area, a pretty important place for you to come at this point in the game, so I don't see why not. Also, hope you guys are all having a good day. Today is one of those weird days, okay? It's like, I'm recording this at about 12 o'clock, you know, midday. But it feels really dark out, and it's because, like, today is the first day that it feels like the season has changed. That, like, we played Final Fantasy X through the summer, right? And it's kind of like this is going to be like the fall LP, but today feels like the first real day of autumn. Like, I had my windows open this morning and it was raining, and you kind of get that smell. Like, I love that smell of the seasons changing. It's literally that today. Anyway, Riku says, I hear New Yevon party members aren't too welcome in Kilika. Really, what do you mean? Well, good thing we're not associated with either, right? Payne says, Kilika is divided. You hear more and more about places like that these days. I'm sure you do. We'll talk to Shinra and stuff later. There is, of course, international content for us to look at, but whatever. And yeah, once we've been to Mushroom Rock, just to recap you guys on where we've been here, you'd be surprised. We're pretty much done with everything now. Except 2 areas, I believe. We went to Besaid at the start. We just went to Kilika. Haven't been to Luca yet. I told you guys we'll do that one last. Haven't been to the Mihen High Road or Mushroom Rock, but we've been to Jose, we've been to the Moonflow, we've been to Guadalajara, we've been to the Thunder Plains, been to Macalania Woods, been to Beacon Hill Desert, been to Pavel, been to Kilika Lands, been to Mount Gagazet, and we're going to obviously do Zanakan Ruins as a hotspot later. So, let's finish stuff off. Let's go to Mushroom Rock Road. Heading for the Youth League headquarters, says Buddy. They're planning some kind of operation, and the fiends are multiplying like crazy. So there is actually a mission here. Also, before the cutscene shows, someone said something in the comments that I think was amazing and explains why Waka is not a playable character in this game. And they think it's because with the new combat system, him throwing the ball, like, bugged out in the new combat system. It's true that in 10.2, there is no one who throws a ball like Waka did. I think that's really significant. That's probably exactly why he's not a playable character. Because there is none of that animation stuff going on. But yeah, okay, so here we are. And let's just progress on, I suppose. Oh, look! Look! It's the LeBlanc Syndicate.
It's those creeps again.
Maybe there's a sphere here.
Well, I would hope so. They're sphere hunters, right?
It's our turn to do the following.
Oh, it's not such a loser strategy now, Yuna. Wow, we're going to be doing the following? Oh, and a bunch of guys. There's some Machina.
Good to see you again, Lady Yuna. You haven't forgotten me, have you?
Well, who are you? Well, unfortunately, we don't know who this guy is, so I'm going to say I'm sorry, but I have. Most of the time through Chapter 1, you'll meet different characters, and they'll say, hey, do you remember who I am? And you can say, yeah, sure, I know exactly who you are. Or you can say, I don't know. Mostly this is for players who have forgotten from Final Fantasy X, some of these more, like, minor characters that appear. But this dude only appears in Eternal Calm, and I haven't shown you guys that clip of Eternal Calm just yet. I look forward to that. It'll be coming up. So I'm going to say, yeah, I have forgotten you. This won't affect your percent completion, so don't worry.
I'm very sorry.
I'm Yaibel, of the Youth League. When we first met, I was still an initiate. But now I'm a captain. We, the Youth League! Klasko, take it from here.
We, the Youth League, to better our understanding of Spiras' past, vow to remain vigilant in our search for ruins and spheres.
Oh, that's enough! Those 2 guys are getting away!
Whoa, Riku, don't
Did
be so
LeBlanc's
rude.
men pass through here?
Yes, they said they're here to take care of our fiend problem. You see, the Youth League is in preparation for an important operation, leaving our patrols short-handed. As a result, the road to headquarters has been overrun with fiends. Be warned, unless you can defeat the fiends on the road, you will not be able to pass. So, are you ready to run the gauntlet?
Well, you can say that you're game, sure.
Understood. Expect to encounter fiends until you reach the vicinity of the lift. Fight your way through them and proceed to headquarters. That's it. Good luck. Klasko? Klasko, show them the way.
Of course. This way, please.
Yeah, let's hunt some fiend.
There's so much going on. Okay, first, Klasko is there. Wow, we haven't seen him for a while, right? That's pretty interesting. Second, I love how we're just sort of using these guys. Like, we say, oh yeah, we'll do your mission with you, but we're really just using them so that we can follow the LeBlanc Syndicate down there. And lastly, I just kind of wanted to point out, now you're going to see a little. The Youth League, you might have thought, oh, they're just like a pairing of New Yevon. You know, Youth League don't like New Yevon don't like Youth League. But there you kind of hear something that really the Youth League, they're just sphere hunters on a really big scale. Right? They're really interested in spheres. And you kind of realize, though, that while, yes, that may be true, they are just sphere hunters. There's 1,000 gil in a spare chest up here. It's actually a pretty serious thing. Like, these are spheres to Spiras' past. You know, they can unlock its secrets. They can tell us where we made mistakes, like with the Zanuck and Bevel War, and build a better future. It's big stuff, right? Imagine the real world. This is what I like to imagine, okay? Imagine the real world, humanity, there's some kind of apocalyptic scenario, right? And we're now living in a post-apocalyptic dystopia, right? A bit like here. But there is still some way for us as humans to find traces of the old world, like the internet. Imagine, right? imagine if you could, like, find buried around the world old YouTube videos, yeah? Like these are the spheres, and, like, people would be really seriously interested in that, like, from an academic perspective. So you can kind of see, like, these guys want to explore the ruins, they want to find that stuff out. So, you know, it's not really like, oh, they're just upstarts and they don't like anyone. You know, they're pretty serious about what they're doing, and it's kind of cool. It puts another perspective on the whole sphere hunting thing, too. Anyway, this guy says, these are machines, that is to say, machina, that we albeit refurbished. Some we excavated from the desert, others we purchased for use from Bevel. Of course, I guess they've got a lot to sell. The machine faction has been dispatching patrols like ours from Jose Temple to guard the road. But don't think we've aligned ourselves one way or the other. We work with both New Yevon and the Youth League. Gipple's policy is to remain as neutral as possible. Ah, okay, so that's sort of where the machine faction sits with all this. You might be wondering, if I follow this machina, in the previous game, to walk along over here to the end of this screen, it would take you to like a ruined beachfront, if you remember, where a disaster happened. And in X-2, that is also one of the cutscenes. There's no reason to go there, so they just don't include it in the game. And by coming along here, so you get a bit of a sense of perspective here, we're now at the end of the Jose High Road. Remember, we rode this hover here a couple of episodes ago. So that's how these maps are connected now. Anyway, all of that done. I don't mean to dawdle too much. Let's follow Clasko, tackle these fiends, find the Youth League headquarters, follow the LeBlanc Syndicate. And if that sounds like there's a lot to do, that's because there kind of is. This is like one of those missions where there's like 2 missions layered on top and you can miss stuff.
Clasko? Clasko, show them the way.
Clasko? Clasko.
Of course.
Show them the way.
Please.
Sure, alright. So here's your eyeball. He says, reach the left near the headquarters and your mission will be complete. Be careful, Lady Yuna. Oh my god. At the core of the League is Maven Nuge, a warrior who fears not even death. Wow. The League is busy making preparations to take on the New Yevon party. Why would they want to take them on, right? After the temples fell, people across Spira began banding together under the guidance of the former Crusaders. Yes, so the Crusaders don't really exist anymore, sadly. Don't forget, they were excommunicated and stuff even during the plot of the previous game. Those smaller groups joined forces, creating the Youth League we know today. So these are sort of formed out of the Crusaders. And that guy's just repeating his dialogue. What do you say as a second line? We've been staring them down, them being New Yevon, for a long time. Now we'll finally get to give them more than just dirty looks. So what does that mean? This guy says that most of the Crusaders Maven Nuge once served with joined the Youth League out of admiration for Nuge the Undying. How did he get this reputation of the Undying guy? Is he an unsent? Ooh, maybe. Let's talk to Clasko.
You seem down.
Well, a lot has happened since you brought us the calm. I ended up following Captain Lucille. When she joined the Youth League, so did I. But I'm still stuck playing tour guide. You know, all I want is to ride on a chocobo faster than the wind.
Dude, didn't we give you some advice about friggin' chocobos and stuff last game?
You know, all I want...
Alright, now he's just repeating his dialogue, and you just ended up here? You were never any good at this, Clasko. What silly Billy. By talking to him, by talking to Yaibel, we've actually got a couple more dossiers we can check out. We'll be doing that shortly, I suppose. Actually, maybe not shortly, maybe in a little while. Alright, so we head in here. This mission is very simple. It's literally just get from point A to point B. Foggy Fiend Frenzy. The Youth League is a bit short-handed. Help them out by clearing out the fiends along Mushroom Rock Road. Fiends will attack more often under the cover of fog, so do proceed with caution. And then at the bottom it says, objective, reach the lift leading to the headquarters. Alright, so here we... Oh, I was almost going to press X to leave there. Okay, there we go. So you'll notice as we're walking along, this is a little bit similar to when we fought the Maga Sisters here in the previous game. As you run along, you'll notice there's like a filter that appears on the screen that slowly makes it look very dark blue. See, it's coming in now? Now, if you run around while the screen is looking very dark blue like this, you will basically, you get much higher encounter rates. You're almost guaranteed to get an encounter. So that's the way it works. That's the fog that they're talking about. And you have 2 options of the way you tackle the mission. You can either just brute force your way through, getting a lot of random encounters whenever the fog comes up, but ultimately getting experience in AP. Ah, check them out. Over there, over there. Hey, guys.
There they are.
And they're running off. Or you can stop every time the fog comes and probably get through the mission quicker, but, you know, at the cost of not really getting any grind in. So, those guys, if you remember from the previous game, the only way we could go is along where I'm headed now, along that long linear path. Well, now that we can jump, things are a little bit different. Okay, so here we go. We got ambushed, and these are our new classes. Who gets their first go? Pain does. Pain is a blue mage. I'm not going to talk about blue mage just yet. We got Riku, so check out Riku down here. She's got white magic, where she can cast Protect because she's on the Helios Guard Garment Grid. But otherwise, the only thing she has is Item, which everyone gets, or Black Magic. So let's check it out. Black Magic, she's just got the regular Tier 1 Black Magic skills. Fire, Blizzard, Thunder, and Water. Well, these enemies are all Fire Fiends, which means that they're going to be weak to Ice. So we can select Blizzard and pick a red elemental. Now we've got Yuna here, and Yuna has 3 abilities as a songstress unlocked right now. She's got Darkness Dance, which we started the game with, inflict darkness on everyone while dancing. Samba of Silence, inflict silence on everyone, or the Sleepy Shuffle. Well, these enemies, if you remember from the previous game, are actually immune to sleep, but they're certainly not immune to silence, and all they do is cast magic. So with the Samba of Silence, we completely eliminate these guys being able to do anything. Check it out. So Yuna there is dancing away, and they're all silenced, and we're basically invincible now. That's the kind of strength of support classes in this game. Riku cast Blizzard there, and the thing died. So we got Pain again here. You'll notice that she's got regular attack, unlike the other 2 girls. So she's not like a pure mage, she's a gun mage. She's got white magic because of Helios Guard. She's also got Scan here. View detailed information about an enemy. So let's scan one of these red elementals, shall we? And Riku's turn's back up, so we'll cast Blizzard again in a second. And here you go, this is the scan animation. This was something you saw back in Final Fantasy X. On my test file for this game, where I just didn't do any side stuff, I didn't unlock Gun Mage, so I never saw Scan at all. Scan is really useful in this game because there's no such thing as sensor. In the previous game, you could get gear with sensor in it, right? Which meant that while you were holding this certain weapon, you could always see enemies' health and stuff. Super powerful. You can't do that in this game. You can't see enemy health unless you specifically go out of your way to scan them. So this is what the UI looks like right now. It says that this guy's got 99 health, he's got 330 MP. Currently he's buffed with magic up, which he's cast on himself a couple of times, so he's got 4 times more potent spells. You can see his resistances, and at the bottom there's even a description. It says, a fiend created when the power of fire fuses with fireflies. It sends tongues of flames at all who approach. Ice is its only elemental weakness. Now here's one of the most amazing things to me about 10.2, like in terms of game depth. Every single enemy in the entire game can be scanned. There's no such thing as immunity to scan anymore. And every single enemy has a unique scan description. This isn't something I'm going to be able to show off to you guys every single time in the LP. But I find it really interesting that they went to that level of depth. Further, you know how we've seen some fiends become oversouled? Basically, this is the process of a fiend becoming more powerful, more dangerous. And when you fight an oversouled fiend, it's got a new scan description as well, which means every single enemy has 2 different scan descriptions. It's insane. It's so cool. Anyway, there you go. That's scan. That's kind of the theme of the Gun Mage. It's one of the biggest things that they do. They learn a lot about the enemies. So now we know, they're weak to Blizzard. So we'll cast Blizzard again. I'll demonstrate some of the more mechanics next battle. Yuna here could cast Fire because of the firing she's got, but whatever. It would be much better to just leave the Samba of Silence going. And that's pretty much all that Pain's got. Attack, scan, and blue bullets. But blue bullet is empty, okay? You will notice the description of blue bullet says, attack with bullets containing fiend skills. Well, maybe you can guess what that means. Riku finally, one final Blizzard, and she will have owned all of the enemies here. Unless Pain can get the kill early. No, there we go. And down she goes.
It's all in the wrist.
It's all in the wrist. I would have expected her to have only said that as a thief, but whatever. Alright, so we could continue progressing along, and indeed, if you don't want to get 100% in the game, that's all you have to do. I'm going to stand still because of the fiends here. You could just go along and go to headquarters and finish the mission. However, we are here for one reason, right? To follow the LeBlanc Syndicate. So, it's a good thing we came here. Let's go see if they actually have found the sphere. They came along over here. Now, in the previous game, there was nothing for us to do, but by holding circle, Yuna can hop down. We're now in an area that was previously an airship destination. It's one of these funny areas where Yuna just jumps down while Tidus needed a whole airship to take him there. There's a lot of like little branches. Over here, I believe, is where we got Riku's final weapon in the previous game, the God Hand. Well, now, as Yuna, when you're running around here, you actually notice a passageway Tidus apparently couldn't see. Here's something kind of cool. We got some coyotes here. I'm not going to scan them. We'll just start killing them. But there's a lot of enemies, right? So if we come over to Riku, what do we want to do to deal with these enemies? Well, we could cast Black Magic 1 and then 2 and then 3. Or, in this game, like with many past Final Fantasies, you can change the targeting of Black Magic. You can either target one enemy, or, I'm going to do Thunder with this, you can target all enemies at once. You see that on the bottom left? By pressing left, I target all enemies. So I can target one enemy, this enemy, this enemy. I can target this party member, or this party member. I could target all party members, or I could target all enemies. Obviously, we want all enemies. So, and let's go with the Sleepy Shuffle this time, since all of these enemies are vulnerable to sleep. And we'll start just killing them. Now, something really interesting here as well. I guess we'll just start attacking. Maybe you guys will notice it. Is that sleep as a status in this game it stops the enemy being able to do anything. It's like darkness and silence combined, but it also is supposed to end when they get attacked. But if we shoot this coyote here with pain, it died anyway, but it would actually stay asleep. So that's one of the really cool things about the songstress, and that's the fact that because she is constantly dancing, I'm actually dancing IRL right now, doing an invitation. Because she's constantly dancing, then you attack a fiend, and instead of actually waking up, it just instantly gets put back to sleep. So it completely removes that side effect from sleep and makes sleep very, very powerful. As I say, again, especially in the early stages of the game. Tie that with the fact that the songstress doesn't even require MP to cast her abilities, and like you can't silence her. You know, you're in for a pretty good time. Equally as well, even though the Gun Mage is called a mage, she's not actually affected by silence, so it's not like she's actually chanting incantations. So we go again. We'll go with. I guess we'll just do the Sound of Silence here. Oh yeah. There is a coyote, but we'll just kill the coyote with pain first. And then we'll use Riku to cast Blizzard, but this time not on one target, on all targets. And we'll see how that goes, right? Pain can just shoot him. That's fine. Now, even though she's shooting people, I believe she is doing magic damage. So even though these guys have high defense. So that's fine. Riku doesn't necessarily have a higher cast time. The drawback on casting magic against all enemies at once is simply that they are like less as potent. So, you know, she'd do like 70 damage right now if she targeted just one guy, but she's going to do far less now that she's targeting all three. She'll do like 50. Here you'll notice that this enemy here now just oversold, okay? And you'll see that his name now appears in red. It's called the Red Elemental. So now, let's scan this Red Elemental, who is still silenced, but you'll notice he's moving much quicker now. And you'll see his description has changed because he's been oversold. So it says, a fiend created when the power of fire fuses with fireflies. Ice is its only elemental weakness. Its fire damage grows weaker as it attacks. So what is oversouling? I guess I'll explain this now, right? When you kill a fiend in this game, they explode into a bunch of fireflies, right? Let's say we were fighting loads and loads of coyotes, just tons of them, hordes of them. If you kill enough coyotes, like those fireflies that are released from killing them, eventually coalesce together, choosing a still living coyote and fuse themselves into it, making that coyote much stronger. So an enemy will oversoul when you've killed loads of the same type before. When it oversouls, it regains all of its health in the battle, it regains all of its MP in the battle, it cleanses itself of all status effects that are currently on it. That's not something massive to consider necessarily for small fiends like this guy, but think about like if a boss oversouls, which indeed every boss in the game can oversoul, which means every boss in the game has a scan description and an oversoul description. And it will also gain new abilities. Its stats just won't go up, but it will change its attack patterns, the kind of things it does. So do you remember right at the start of the game when we fought Boris, that giant crab? He could have oversouled when you go back there through New Game Plus. And if he does oversoul, then he's going to have a variety of new abilities, like his stop is more powerful. And this is now how you see the game remains interesting, even on later playthroughs. Yes, I may go back through the game with loads of really powerful classes and accessories, but enemies are oversouling now. The bosses are. They're much more dangerous. That's kind of the way it works. There's some other facts about oversoul I gathered before recording the LP here. Like, for example, if an enemy is oversouled, it has 0 MP cost, so you can't drain its MP to stop it using abilities. Not that that's really a normal thing anyway. They have different loot to steal also. So they have normal loot when you steal, they have rare loot you can steal, and then when they oversoul, they have different loot you can steal again too. They give you double AP and double experience, very similar to when you overkilled an enemy in the previous game. And if we were to flee from this guy right now, the next time we find a red elemental, it will still be oversold. So once it's oversold, you got to kill it, or it will basically like haunt you down in a weird way. And that's pretty much it. Every single fiend type in the game has a different like number of fiends you have to kill before it will oversoul. So like bosses, you won't have to kill many before you see them oversoul. But like sometimes red elementals, you might have to kill like 10 red elementals before you finally see one oversoul. Sometimes it's much less. You know, coyotes will have their own number and so forth. That's kind of the way it works. And so whenever you see something oversoul now, that's the deal we got. Una did just learn a new ability, but you know, We'll talk about that when we talk about it. Let's keep following the LeBlanc syndicate now. I actually wasn't expecting to talk about Oversoul with you guys today, but it was too perfect with that scan description there. Get to demo it to you guys. So now it's really dark. I should have stopped moving a long time ago, or we would have got another battle instantly. So let's just wait. And we'll move on. Oh, a clarification too. I said to you guys that Thief levels up, like learns abilities slower. Well, the thing is, you get ability points from enemies. You get 1 from a regular enemy, 2 from an oversouled enemy. But you also gain AP whenever you use an ability. So classes that are constantly using abilities like the Songstress tend to level up really quickly. So, look, Yuna this time got Carnival Can. And this doubles our health while she's dancing. So check out our health right now. 200 or so. And it goes way up. Now, Riku's now in yellow, Pain's now in yellow, and it's just because their max health is so much higher. It's not necessarily that they're close to dead. It's pretty cool, I would say. Here, White Magic, Protect we don't need because we're only being hit with magic. So we'll just potion ourselves up. But that's a pretty cool thing to bear in mind. So yeah, this may be why the Thief levels so slowly because, like, her stuff, as someone mentioned in the comments, her stuff is mostly utility based, right? So you're not often, what do we want to do here? Blizzard on all enemies, I guess. So because it's very utility based, you're not often using that stuff, and so you can tend to miss out on her leveling fast. We'll use Pain to start attacking this Bully Cap. You'll notice the Bully Caps in Chapter 1, at least right now, they're not countering with Sleep on all of us. You know, that was a pretty devastating combo we saw here in the previous game. And those two are completely incapacitated. And we'll just spam them down. So right now, the Gun Mage doesn't seem to have very much going for it. But as we play through more of the game, you'll find it quickly becomes one of those powerful support classes out there. One of my favorite support classes, actually. I'd say there's 3 supports in the game. Like, so Songstress is one of them. White Mage is one of... Okay, 4. Songstress, White Mage. The Gun Mage can be a very strong support. And there's another one, too, which we haven't got just yet. Anyway, so I'm not actually going to save there at that sphere just yet, though I feel like I should. Oh, I shouldn't have come this way either. Anyway, we're in a totally new area, and if you look up in the top left, you'll see on the map, there's actually a new zone near us. What is this? Yeah, I shouldn't have come here. Oh, the fog's kind of scary right now. I thought there'd be a chest. So it seems like there's an awful lot of fiends wherever it is we're currently stood. I'm going to try and duck into the room. Nice. Where we're coming to right now is the start of probably the most story-heavy side quest in the entire game.
This one ain't no good.
Nor this one.
What are you doing?
Let's get out of here.
We must inform the boss.
I love how scared they are of us.
Hey, they dropped something.
Finders keepers.
We literally just stole something from them. Amazing. The Crimson Sphere 9. As I say, this is the most significant story side quest in the whole game. It's also very hard to do. When I played this when I was younger, I never actually managed to fully complete this side quest. Not once. It's a very tricky side quest to do. Many of the items you need to gather for this are in really cheeky, well-hidden places. And it's going to be my job to show you guys all of them, because this really unlocks the key to the biggest story mysteries in the entire game. And if you don't do this, you can miss it all. So yeah, we got Crimson Sphere 9. That'll appear here in our key items now, just here, as you can see. It says it appears to be some kind of record. Number 9? That's kind of weird, right? And if we walk over to this bizarre-looking door place here, we never saw in the previous game. You press X to interact and actually put that sphere into the door. Now, we still keep it in our inventory, so we can look at the sphere as a movie. We've not really done very much of that just yet. We can go talk to Shinra and look at it as a movie sphere, see what it's got to say. But yeah, you'll notice it's lit up. And as you can probably guess, our job is to light all of these different spheres up. What the hell is going on? Who knows? It's kind of creepy though, right? Oh, and there's a guy here.
Hey, long time no see. Remember me?
Well, now, of course, I remember him. I'm expecting many of you guys to watching this to remember him too, but I'm going to say, no, I can't remember you.
No big deal. It's me, Maroda. Isaru and Passe's brother.
Ah, how have you been?
I joined up with the Youth League, and that's been keeping me pretty busy.
Oh, I'm a sphere hunter now.
Ah, that sounds great. Trying out a new way of life.
Oh, it is.
Actually, Passe's a sphere hunter now, too. He's the leader of the Kinderguardians. Be nice to him if you see him.
How's Isaru?
Oh.
The Youth League discovered this place, you know. It's called the Den of Woe. It was sealed around the time of Operation Mihen.
And Isaru?
But, the seal can supposedly be broken with the right combination of spheres.
Press it more, Yuna. It doesn't matter if it's awkward. Go.
I'm afraid this place is off limits until we can conduct a more thorough investigation. So, I'll, have to ask you to leave. I'm sorry.
Weird. Something to do with Operation Mihen. Well, I did tell you guys while we were playing Final Fantasy X that there was a whole other story going on right beneath our noses. Quite literally, yeah, you see, we're under where we were stood.